The two main types of bankruptcies that the average consumer would look to file would be a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. A Chapter 7 is what's called a liquidation bankruptcy, where in theory you liquidate all of your assets and in exchange for that you get a discharge of your debts. But in reality the way it works is that most people get to keep, practically everybody gets to keep all of their property unless they have a home with hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity or expensive cars that are paid off. Unless you're someone like that, you get to keep all of your property and you get to discharge all of your debts. Now, a Chapter 7, qualifying for a Chapter 7 is based on your income. And so that is something that an experienced attorney like our firm will work with you and make sure you qualify for a Chapter 7. You don't want to file a Chapter 7 if you make too much money. Most people, though, if you're making around the average income that the state median income, you would qualify for a Chapter 7. And the Chapter 7 process takes about 4 months from beginning to end, and at the end of that 4 months you get what's called a discharge of debtor, which is a discharge or elimination of your debts. A Chapter 13, on the other hand, is usually designed for people who can't qualify for a Chapter 7 because they make too much money and they still have problems paying their credit cards. Or a Chapter 13 is also a great way to help people who have a home that might be in foreclosure, or they feel like they can't make they're behind on their mortgage payments and they need help restructuring them. So a Chapter 13 for a homeowner who is behind on their payments allows them to take the past due payments that they owe and pay them back over 5 years, so long as they just make their monthly payments going forward. So if you're 6 months behind on your mortgage, you get to take those 6 months of payments and pay them back over 5 years. Just keep making the payments current going forward. Chapter 13s, though, are a great way to discharge credit card debt as well if you make too much money and don't qualify for a Chapter 7. Chapter 13 is a little more complicated and takes anywhere generally from 3 to 5 years to complete. But it's like a forced restructuring. You put a plan together and as long as it's reasonable, it'll be approved by the court, and your creditors have to accept it. So the creditors basically have to accept the repayment terms that you put forward. So they're not imposing their will on you. You're basically telling them based on your budget what you can afford to pay, and generally courts will approve a reasonable plan and allow you to repay a percentage of whatever debt you owe over a 3 to 5 year period of time.